In the meantime, Opaque Dreamer donates $10 toward MSF and says, "It's great finding new, interesting games during the late night runs." And I can confirm that you all will have a great time watching this Warden Melody of the Undergrowth run. I've seen Jaxler play this game before. It is an absolute treat. Akko is still getting some love from that awesome perspective run. $10 from CC, who says, "Enjoyed Akko's run, love discovering a new, to me, game and runner. Keep up the good work, Night Shift." And with that, I'm receiving word that we are now ready for Warden Melody of the Undergrowth, as that bid war has just changed hands. Take it away, Jaxler, best of luck.
All right, okie doke, everybody. Good evening. If you're somehow still awake, I super appreciate you all standing up for this. My name's Jaxler. I'm going to be running Warden Melody Undergrowth for you folks tonight, and I have two of my really good friends that I managed to coerce into running this game with me. If you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's corundumcore.
Hi, I'm Drunkle Titus.
All right, and with that, we're going to be showing off any percent for you folks tonight. This is if you've never heard of this game before, this is Warden. This is an indie 3D action adventure game that's kind of a love letter to 3D Zeldas like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and such. And it was made by Cardboard Keep in 2016. A bunch of really cool people. But you won't get to see too much of the game tonight because we are going to absolutely rip it apart because this is a really, really broken little speed game. So very excited to share that with you folks tonight. With that being said, because the run is so short and it's so technical, we're not really going to have time to read any donation comments because of that, but just be assured that we are still receiving all your donations and we're super grateful for all of the support. And the bid war that we're running that Helix just mentioned changed hands is going to be running until we get to the final boss arena. So if you want to change the fate of that, you still have time to do that. So I just wanted to keep that in mind.
Can I give a really quick update on that?
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
Iona is currently in the lead, $225 to Emperor's $220. There is a $5 difference.
Gosh.
Oh boy.
No. Y'all are ridiculous. And again, still that's a lot of money for Doctors Without Borders. So thank you all for the donations that have already been thrown in for that. So you still got about say, ideally 8 minutes or so before that gets cut off. So get those donations in. So with the actual run itself, before we begin, I'll just mention that we cap the frame rate at 60 frames per second. There's going to be a couple of frame precise tricks that you'll see me do throughout the run. And if you're on uncapped frame rate, those timings can be varied depending on how the game decides to handle the frame rate at that time. So for fairness and for consistency, we cap the frame rate at 60 FPS. That being said, we're pretty much good to go. Time's going to start when I click New Story here. So assuming we're good to go, we can start time. All right, we'll start time in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, thanks everybody. So this is Warden Melody of the Undergrowth. We're going into a tutorial bit here where the big thing is they're trying to teach us how to play the game. So there's gonna be a combat tutorial and a how to push buttons and jump and run around and play the game tutorial thing. The big thing though is that you can't jump during this tutorial because there's a river to the right and they didn't want new players just jumping into the river over and over by complete accident, I guess. So we're gonna be doing some stuff to try to speed up and skip some of the intended cutscenes and tutorial bits here. But keep in mind that when I'm doing these, I'm not gonna be able to jump. I'm gonna actually throw the commentary over to corundumcore, who's gonna explain what exactly I'm doing here.
Yeah, so like Jax mentioned, we're not actually going to be able to do any jumping, so we've got to do all of our movement on the ground. So we're going to run up this sword of our dad, the Emperor, in order to skip this thorn wall. Got it second try, that's pretty good. We're going to slide in this next cutscene. Oh,
this is fine.
Caught a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. Now we're going to pick up a rock as soon as it switches over, use that as a slope, and then we are going to run up on these rocks and crouch slide our way into the end level trailer.
That setup was so suspect. All right, and that gets us straight out of the tutorial in under a minute and 10 or so. And then Ruby, can you go ahead and explain what jank is?
Yeah, totally. So this game was built in an earlier version of Unity where running up slopes was really easy to do. And so the developers added a force that we called jank to push you away from walls, but we can actually use that in order to kind of propel ourselves a lot further than intended. We just saw that right there to skip the sleepy dog, and now we are going to skip a moat door. That does two things. One, it's faster. Two, it actually speeds up every moat door that we would be grabbing in the remainder of the run. Only one, because the costs are cumulative. So first door that you open is 10, next is 1,000. So that ends up saving about 10 seconds over the course of the run.
Yep, and going through here, we're gonna pull this lever from the left side because it's very slightly faster. And then anything in this game that looks like remotely like a slope we can stand on and crouch slide off of, and I can use that in order to speed up my movement through here. And then I slide while picking up the sword in order to skip the pickup animation as well. And you'll see me do that for a couple of weapons here in this combat tutorial with the training dummies. But instead of kind of talking over here about the training dummies, I'm gonna let Drunkle Titus go ahead and explain a glitch that we're gonna set up in the room after this.
Yeah, so coming up here after the training dummies, he's going to perform a glitch called Infinite Sword Glitch. So it's basically a two-step process. He's going to start by performing something called a first-person glitch, where he's going to jump and enter first-person mode on the same frame. And this is going to allow him to go into the first-person camera, but maintain full control of his character. And then he's going to do this right next to a climbable surface, like some vines or a ladder. And basically, he will attack with his weapon, like the hammer, and on the very next frame, he's going to cancel first person and try to climb these vines here. And
that was really fast.
Got it right
Nice.
there. So you'll see the tip of his hammer is glowing now. So now he has Infinite Sword Glitch active. So basically, that's just a lasting hitbox. It canceled the animation, but it left the hitbox active. So he just completely destroyed that mud golem because the hitbox is just not going to go away. And this is going to persist through loading zones, through deaths. Pretty much there's only a handful of things that can cancel this. So you're going to see that a lot throughout the run. It really speeds up a lot of fights.
Speaking of persisting through loading zones, we did something called crouch storage. Basically, if you crouch slide into a loading zone, it keeps the crouch hitbox while you're still standing. So you have the ability to sprint, jump, everything, but with a crouching hitbox. So that's going to allow us to get over this wall here. We're basically skipping a decent amount of story progression and going straight to the next major objective of the game.
You're also gonna see me attempt to do something every time I enter a loading zone called a torch slide, where I pull out the torch while I'm walking into the load zone, such that the torch pull animation never finishes. So in the next map, it will actually try to finish the animation, and because of that, a weird buggy walk happens where I actually have a little bit more momentum control, and it saves a couple of frames every time you do it, so over the course of the run, it really adds up. Really tricky skip right there. Nice, we got out of bounds right there by sort of neutral jumping in such a way that we can counteract the forces of Jank so we don't quite slide off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and land on that little rock there to try to cancel a fall. Not huge time loss right there. And then we're making our way through this forest area here in order to pick up another character called Madeira. But the big thing I've been trying to do is keep my hammer with the ISG glitch activated in my holstered slot. So you can kind of see that glowing spot is behind my left hip, and that persists even when we have the weapon de-equipped. So this flower is just going to evaporate completely. And then we have to do the rest of these flowers here in order to make sure that we can get to Madeira here, because we need Madeira to do some very funny nonsense in a moment here. I guess we can start setting that up now if you wanted to go into corundumcore.
Yeah, totally. So instead of having dungeon items in this game, like a lot of other 3D action adventure games, you get abilities with new characters. So that's what we get Madeira for in intended gameplay. Madeira also allows us to do a trick called sleep storage. So when we fought that first flower in this area, there was a campfire next to it. We're going to light that campfire, which gives us the opportunity to rest at it. Sleeping at it brings us to the spirit world. So what we're going to do is we're going to rest and swap on consecutive frames, run down here, and then sleep and swap at the exact same time, and then mash the swap buttons. That's going to take our coordinates from the other map into the spirit world. So we're going to do the exact same thing here.
Oh, let's go. We got both first try.
Nice. Good job.
Those are both frame perfect inputs, so that's really hype to hit.
All right, so we're going to do that exact same thing, except this is going to give us coordinates that are behind a door that doesn't open until you defeat the 3 main bosses before the final boss. So we've just skipped 90%
of the game. Yeah, it's unbelievable. You saw me do a torch slide as well in there to get a little bit of extra movement. I'm actually not going to do one here. I'm going to do an intentional crouch slide to set up crouch storage, and Drunkle's going to tell you why that's super important.
Yeah, so the crouch storage is going to be important here because of a skip that Jaxler's about to perform right now. So after doing this blind movement up this dark cave, he's going to get to sort of this rock wall face, and crouch storage is going to allow him to scale up it. So those two rocks there, he only can fit in between them with his crouched hitbox.
There we go.
And he's able to jump up onto the wall. It's very precise, because if he were to hit the wrong part of the wall,
Gotta back up.
he would have been pushed away from the jank.
Yeah, so if I did that the full way, I could have skipped all of these flower platforms, but unfortunately, I hit the slope in such a way that you kind of saw that jank force get applied to me there. Not a huge deal. We did the thing where we skipped like all the puzzles in the canyon, so that still saves a boatload of time.
So those flowers that you saw, we're gonna see a few more over here. Normally, you use Madeira to turn those into flower platforms, but we can actually just jump on the buds because they have hitboxes. Doing another ISP, first try.
2, 3, there we go. And then I'm gonna swap off of the hammer there. Just when you have the weapon holstered, it actually prevents you from losing the ISG from taking damage. So we're just gonna do a bunch of jumps on those platforms there, no big deal. Game just kind of lets us. And then I need to be a little bit careful not to clank with the shield, because that's one of the things that can actually turn off ISG is clanking the hitbox with one of the shield enemy's shields. So, all right. Bit skip. Drunkle, can you explain what's going on here?
Yeah, so this is a skip that's going to allow us to skip another one of the Warden characters who we just don't see until the end of the run. Basically, you can just jump up those rocks there and use the jank force from the wall to push you all the way over to those wooden spikes. And now he's going to scale up these boxes, jump onto a section of the wall, and then he's able to get on top of this fence and basically run the fence all the way around here. So this is like an arena where you would normally have to do a fight.
Oh, and I got the jank boost there, dude. That's kind of a swag set. That seems only like a second, but that's really risky.
That was really clean movement there.
That was really good.
Yeah, so he's able to skip that entire area, and now we're pretty much at the end of the game.
Yeah. And with that, so we are now going into the final boss arena. So Helix, we're going to cut off the donation bid war here. Helix, who are we fighting?
You're not gonna believe this. The bid war is tied.
Are you
Oh
serious?
my God.
Serious.
Okay. So the bid war is tied, which means as the runner, I get to choose, right?
Yeah, exactly. Is this pace?
No, but I'm still probably going to take Emperor. And the reason why is that Emperor is a bit faster than fighting Nyona. Nyona's the flying creature who we're going to be siding with here, and we're going to take out the Emperor, who is our dad. So this is a little unfortunate. But the way that this fight works, in either case, is that there are going to be these crystals that spawn out of the ground. And they always spawn in a set location. So what I'm going to do is pass straight to their location and then jump on top of my dad and then just kind of wiggle around so that I insert and like remove the hitbox from his body to stack damage as quickly as possible. There is a ceiling to how much damage that you can do per phase, so you are locked to a 3 cycle at best. But what I'm trying to do here is kind of use audio cues to know what attacks I'm getting hit with so I know how to appropriately respond here. And then as I line up with these crystals, I kind of do a running jump into them in order to do like a really quick turnaround on them. All right, so that's phase 2. So now we got one more phase after this, and time is actually coming up really soon. It's going to be on final hit. So yeah, we're already at the end of the game and kind of blazing through the boss. The ISG glitch is also like letting us do a boatload of damage. We can also stand on our dad's head, which is very funny. So I'm gonna wait kind of here, and okay, we're doing air blade attacks, and then I kind of know where the crystals are gonna spawn as well when I can see sort of the Z target reticle appear from under the ground. That was sick. Totally intentional. Oh,
Yeah, he
got
meant
one more.
to do that.
Okay, get ready on time. Time. Oh, and we got the camera clipped in the ground too. That was nice. Oh, what was my final time?
10:40.
That was a 10:54.
10:50. Wow.
That's really good.
Sub 11's sick.
Yeah, that's sub 11. So that's really that was my goal going into this. So.
That was a really good.
That was really
Really
clean.
nice.
So for context, current world record is 10:28 by me. So I played that pretty close to world record. So I'm really happy with how that went. Yeah, that's really awesome. Cool. So that was Warden Melody of the Undergrowth. That was a lot of words that we threw at you. So I'm sorry that if that was super overwhelming. Wow, that was super awesome. I'm so glad I got to show this game off to you folks. If you've never seen this game before and heard that like, oh, indie 3D action adventure, kind of Zelda, and you're like, holy crap, where do I get this game? It's on Steam and itch. And if you purchased the itch.io racial justice bundle, I believe I don't know like what the specific name was for it, but that is included for free within that as well if you purchase that bundle. So you may actually own this game, and you should go ahead and play it because this game is amazing. So yeah, play Warden, Melody of the Undergrowth for the personal computer, I guess. I guess now we kind of just do some shout outs. I'm just pushing buttons randomly in game. I'd like to shout out a couple of people specifically from the Warden community. I'd like to shout out my good pal Aroymart. Aroymart has been like the brainchild behind a lot of the stuff you just saw in the NA% run. Aroymart discovered wrong warping, discovered a lot of like the jank boost related strats, and is like been a huge force in the community. So super shout outs to Aroymart. I also want to shout out Author Blues, who was one of the people that in our scene kind of like introduced us to this game. So I want to super shout out Author Blues as well. And I also want to shout out these two nerds for joining me on commentary and doing an amazing job. Can we please get a round of applause for them? All right. And while I was stalling for time, we're going to sleep into the air here. I guess in closing, yeah, you can just do this, by the way. This game is amazing. But just as a last note, I've been Jaxler. If you want to see more like weird speed games that no one's ever heard of before, you can find me at twitch.tv/Jaxler1. And for the occasional oven retweet, you can find me at JaxlerSR on Twitter. But yeah, we're gonna go take a nap because it's late and we all really wanna go to bed, but this was also so awesome. I can't believe we got this game into the event. Thank you so much to all the GDQ folks for letting us do this. I legitimately can't believe this is a thing. So thank you all so much. I'm gonna hop off and let the next run get set up. Thank you so much for having me, everybody. Have a great night and rest of GDQ. Take care.
It's always a pleasure to see my good friend Jaxler absolutely destroy games for charity. One more time for Jaxler. I can't believe you all tied the bid war. You tied the bid war. If there was anything I expected, it wasn't that. In the meantime, I have $25 here from Claire and James. And they say, got up early to watch more speedruns from Scotland. Keep up the amazing work. And with that, we are going to take a quick break, but don't go away, SGDQ 2022. We'll be right back. Welcome back once again to Summer Games Done Quick 2022 in support of Doctors Without Borders, or MSF. Coming up next, we have Super Bonk Any Percent by Lead Ostrich. And thank you all for spending some time with us early this morning, or perhaps not early this morning, depending on which time zone you're in. Regardless, thank you. Drift Peasant sends in $50. It's a family tradition for my wife, my kids, and me to watch GDQ. It's for a great cause, and it is a great family activity. So you all tied the last bid war we had. Here's another bid war that's really close that I guess you could potentially tie. We have the bulk/navigator bid war. That is the run after Super Bonk. Lyra Hart is currently in the lead with $100. Leon Rhodes is in second place with $90, and Metical Flare is bringing up third place with $50. Lots of ground to be taken there on that bid war. We are also working toward the Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach bonus game, currently sitting at a little over $9,000 out of $90,000. We have until basically midday tomorrow to get that one met, so a bit of time left still, but hey, if you want to see some Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, consider putting your donations toward that. You know, I said it closes tomorrow, but it technically closes today. It is Monday morning, at least local time. Meanwhile, $100 here from Adele Katara. Legos and watching/donating to SGDQ to complete my day. Thank to the runners, staff, and host for this awesome event. Thank you so much for your generous donation. In fact, a $100 donation to MSF can purchase Ebola protective gear packed with everything MSF teams on the front lines of the Ebola response need to protect themselves as they work to safely care for patients during an outbreak. Mr. Zbub donates $10. SGDQ is here already? All right, let's get this party started. An Actual B sends in $25. Longtime watcher, first-time donator. Hello from New Zealand. Hype? We have a $500 donation from John Nia. So happy to be watching this year. Best of luck to the runners, and a huge shout out to all the support staff that make this event happen. It does take a lot of work from many different people, and it's very satisfying to see it all come together and do a lot of good. As a quick update on that bulk/navigator bid war, Cleverheart still has $100 and Leon Road still has 90, but Mythical Flare in third place has closed the gap a little bit, now sitting at $80, so just $20 separates first from third place in this bid war. Thank you all for being patient as we set up Super Bonk 80% by Lead Ostrich. We have a $50 donation from Dusty Soar, who says, so happy GDQ is back. Can't wait to stay up late watching all week. And seriously, especially if you are local to Minnesota or local to the Central Time Zone in general, basically the local time in which this event is taking place, thank you so much for staying up with us. Or, on the other hand, thank you so much for waking up early. You know, speedrunning isn't just limited to AGDQ and SGDQ. You can watch every weekday night right here on Games Done Quick at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern on the GDQ Hotfix. We have 22 different shows with specials on the weekends, and for more information, you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. Hotfix shows off communities in speedrunning that are sometimes overlooked during marathons and elevates speedrunners year-round. We have shows for all interests, including ones that can help you find new games, teach you how to speedrun, and shows focused on the more niche parts of speedrunning, such as randomizers. We also have special events.